It's my first reading vlog. In this vlog, I was going to read 3 books and I ended up reading 4 books. Started cleaning one day, an audiobook happened, more to talk about. In this vlog, I read The Only One Left by Riley Sager, The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz, The Safe Place by Anna Downs, and Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Collar-Croft. I give some 5 stars, I give some 3 stars. This was, I would say, a pretty successful vlog. So let's wind it back to about a week ago where we start and follow along as I jump into these. Finally able to start this beauty today. So Riley Sager, House Across the Lake wasn't my favorite, but all of your gothic thrillers have been, so I have high hopes for this one. Highly anticipated. Please don't let me down. No like high expectations or anything, but I don't know. I'm really excited to start this one. Oh my gosh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm only about 50 pages in, but I don't know, like sometimes you can just tell if you're going to really like a book within the first 50 pages. It's kind of when on DNF. But so far, we are following our main character, Kit. We are following our main character, Kit. She's kind of down on her luck. She was a caretaker, and something happened where she was suspended, and she's able to go back, and she's kind of like working through the reason why she got suspended. And you do find out that like 20-30 pages in why she was suspended, but the director of the facility she was working with takes her back. It's like, oh, we have this other client who, you would go live at their house. It's kind of like a 24/7 live-in thing. And she's like, yes, like absolutely, I'll go live on the cliffs where all of these really rich people live, big home. And so she goes out there and she finds out who the client is, and it's the client Lenora Hope, who there was a nursery rhyme created about Lenora Hope, but apparently she was the only one left, the only one left in her home after her entire family was brutally murdered. And of course they're going to suspect that it was Lenora, but they never convicted her, and so she's just been in this home ever since. Now she needs full-time care, and Kit is called out there. Kit is desperate for money. She doesn't really want to take this position, but she's just desperate. So she goes out there, and she's meeting the caretaker and the housekeeper and Lenora now around page 50. I am liking it. I like the first couple pages, how it kind of starts out with this weird confession. I love the writing. It's super quick. This is probably something I can finish within a day or two. So I'm excited. Tonight we're going to see some friends out at Orange Beach, which is about an hour away from us. Maybe not a lot of reading to get done tonight, but I'm really excited to get this one finished. Morning. As I sit here and make my coffee, I wanted to kind of chat about where I am within The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I'm about halfway through and I am thoroughly enjoying it. So if you are a Sager lover and you've read all of his books, I think this would kind of fall in the vibe, like halfway through. I think this would kind of fall between Lock Every Door and Home Before Dark. His niche, in my opinion, his niche is definitely that gothic, kind of creepy, don't really know if it's paranormal, but could be kind of thriller, in which that is my favorite from him. I think that he has mastered that. So with this one so far, you know, she's moved in, she's getting to know Lenore a little bit. She's been there for a few days now, but Lenore is already taken to her. She is completely paralyzed, cannot move anything but maybe her left hand a little bit. So she is able to knock, like if she's laying down, knock on the bed once for no and twice for yes. So that's how they communicate. But also she communicates via a typewriter. It takes all day for her to type, but she wrote something along the lines of, "My mind is alive, but my body is dead." And started talking about, "I can't hurt you." And Kit's like, "Yeah, but like, it's great that you can't, but that's not bringing me any sort of comfort. Like, I need to know that you won't." But she said, "I can't hurt you." And you're like, okay, Lenora, did you do it? So now Kit's hearing all these weird footsteps everywhere, and the caretaker that was there before just vanished, like left in the middle of the night. Everyone was really mad about it, and they're saying, you know, we don't know why she left and like where she went. And Kit found all of her possessions still in the bedroom, like all of her books and clothes and things like that. They're still there. So she's like, what is going on? Where is this woman? Been here a week, like her stuff is still here. And everyone's just being fishy. And I am loving it so much. So I'm getting coffee ready to go to work. And last night wanted to read but didn't because my husband's going on a fishing tournament, and at 9 p.m. I decided that I wanted to bake 4 dozen cookies for everyone going on the tournament. So I was up to about midnight baking all these cookies. I didn't really get to finish that. So we're making some coffee to wake up, and I'll start work, and during lunch I'll read. I can't get enough. It's 4th of July weekend, and I actually finished The Only One Left last night, and immediately went to sleep. Woke up early this morning. We went and got on the boat and fished a little bit, brought some fish home. We're gonna do a cookout tonight at the in-laws house. Just took a shower, looking great, but I wanted to update you. The Only One Left, 5 stars. 5 stars. And let me tell you why. When it comes to my reading a thriller, I need it to have so many twists and turns that you think you're done and you're not. That will almost always get a high rating from me because it's so fun. It's gimmicky. This one's ridiculous. This is full of twists, it's full of turns. Some of them are unbelievable. You're gonna have to suspend your disbelief a little bit for this book, but it is so worth it. When we were out on the boat, I had my Kindle and I started a new book, and I took out the spare room. I made it about 60 pages on my Kindle. This book is about a woman named Kelly and her fiance Mike, and they're about to get married, but I don't know why yet. We haven't gotten there yet, but for some reason her fiance told her, we need to pump the brakes on this wedding. And she says, well, I'm going to go stay with my friend from high school who I just reconnected with on Instagram, hoping that he would say, no, stay, we're gonna fight for it. And he didn't. So she goes to stay in the spare room of her friend's and her friend's husband's house. So right at this point, she's getting introduced to the husband, she's getting introduced to the house, and she brought her cat with her, and she's learning where the coffee mugs are. Her friend is an author, but she writes spicy books. Now I'm starting to get to the provocative part of this, where the author seems to have written Kelly into as in her new book in the series of her spicy books, and it's throwing Kelly for a ride. She doesn't know if she wants to, pursue this new thing or if she wants to really work on her stuff with Mike. And I'm intrigued about where this goes. I'm excited to see what happens here, so hopefully I'll be able to finish this either tonight or tomorrow, just depending on when we get home from my in-laws, and I'll be able to update you. We just took the dogs for a walk. The lighting in my kitchen is horrendous, but we are making some steak, and I pre-cut some sweet potato fries, so we're about to put those in the air fryer. But hopefully I can finish this book tonight. I think I have about 50 pages left. We did get to a twist, did not see it coming, so I am pretty invested at this point. But we're gonna eat and probably watch some YouTube while we eat dinner, and hopefully I'll be able to finish it tonight and we can start on a new one tomorrow. I have this much left in the spare room. This has now turned into a thriller. I now get it. I don't believe it's a thriller from page 1 to page 250, but once you get 3/4 of the way through, it does become thriller-esque. This is major obsession. This book is, main character just has a sense of ownership for the couple, a sense of obsession for the couple. Man, does she throw that on them. There is no middle ground with her. She either loves you or she hates you. The twist that happened, there have been 2 so far that have caught me off guard. The twists that happened are really good. I'm glad that they happened. It's made the book more enjoyable for me as we move forward. I'm excited to see how it ends. I feel at this point it's dragging. We are still obsessed. We are still asking the same questions. The couple is still answering, saying, I have no idea. Do you hear that thunder? My God. Still answering with, I have no idea, every single time. It's getting a little repetitive. I'm ready for it to conclude. But I finished the spare room last night. I think I'm giving it 3 stars. It was good. It wasn't great. I mean, now the final conclusion of the whole thing was pretty good. I didn't see it coming, but it was so far out there. It was like she was trying to come up with something that would throw the audience for a loop, and it was just the last resort. It didn't seem plausible. It didn't seem like it would actually happen, but everything else in the book felt like it could happen. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a whole suspend your disbelief for the whole book. So I struggled a little bit with that. So 3 stars, not my favorite. Now what I did like, I think they handled the pandemic well. I really loved the wife and the husband as characters. I loved them. I loved reading about them. I loved watching their arc. I loved watching their character growth. The main character, not my fave. We could have cut out a solid 100 pages and it still would have told the same story. So, the last book of the vlog, Stone Cold Fox by Rachel Collar Croft. I don't know what it's about, but I've heard nothing but good reviews. Absolutely nothing but good. So I'm excited to read it. I'm gonna see if I can read it during my hair appointment, but I talk a lot, so probably not. But I'm gonna take it in. I'm going to try to read it, at least get started on it. Back to normal. Yesterday, didn't vlog. Just didn't want to be on camera, but I did read a little bit of Stone Cold Fox and wanted to tell you about just where I am in that, we're making some coffee for our second cup for Saturday morning. I'm about to go organize all these books that I have, so that'll be a fun time. So Stone Cold Fox, I'm about 60 pages in, and right now it's really good. It's different. The way that it's written as like a stream of consciousness. You're in the main character's mind the whole time, and she grew up with a con artist as a mother, but it's not huge cons that we can think of. It's mostly like conning men to get their money, that sort of thing. Dual timelines. Right now, she's either like an adult trying to get away from her mom's teachings. She's trying to marry a very wealthy man, so that way she can just be taken care of her entire life. And then it goes back to when she was a kid and learning all these things from her mom. And you can tell her mom is pretty emotionally abusive, makes her call her mother, and won't give her love unless she can get something out of it. Is pretty back and forth with her moods. She's learned to read her mother, so that way she knows whether or not like now's a good time to ask for food. So she's learned how to do that. I'll put you down a little bit so that way I can pour this coffee. But in the meantime, in the nowadays, she's trying to weasel her way into one of the wealthiest families in America and marry this man named Colin Case. Colin, they've been dating for about 4 months. She's also this big marketing executive. She's made her way up in the career world. But Colin is falling head over heels for her because she's absolutely gorgeous in every way, shape, and form. But he has this best friend named Gail. And Gail is made out to be this other wealthy woman, but she's very plain Jane, wears boxy shift dresses and a color beige, doesn't really care about her hair or her nails or anything that's, you know, stereotypical for that kind of world. And Gail is in love with Colin, anyone can tell, and she's trying to kind of find lies that our main character is telling to stay with Colin. And she's kind of doing a good job. Beatrice, or B, who's our main character, is having a lot of fun playing cat and mouse, going back and forth with Gail here. And I'm wondering if this game that they're playing, if it's going to end up being the demise for Beatrice, if she's going to get in over her head with these lies and these little jabs here and there, and if it's going to end up being detrimental, if she's underestimating Gail, because Gail knows what she wants. My husband told me that I either had to organize my books or get rid of them, so if you want him, you can have him. So I'm going to pop in some headphones and actually listen to another book. I'm listening to The Safe Place by Anna Downs. I'm about 20% in. Don't really know what it's about. The tagline says something like, no escape, no phones, no way out. But at this point, she's like gotten an opportunity to go overseas and be the housemaid for this big executive's wife, but this whole thing was like supposed to be a retreat. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna listen to that today while I go through these book piles and figure out where they're supposed to go. Yeah, gotta go through this stack, all those stacks, not to mention what's behind there, all of that, and all of that. As I'm 50% into The Safe Place by Anna Downs. And in reality, her old boss has a wife that lives on her own in France with their ill daughter that for some reason he needed the main character, can't remember her name, but needed her to go and hang out with the wife and the daughter and help take care of the house and her daughter. And 50% in, I can't say there's much of a mystery right now, but I'm still pretty invested. I don't know, it's fun to listen to while I'm cleaning, but basically what has happened is the husband and the boss, like he never comes home. He never comes to see, he's in America, by the way, and they're all the way in France. But he never comes to see his wife, never comes to see his daughter, and the daughter is weird. The daughter has some weird illnesses. Daughter has to always wear sunscreen. She's so pale. She's allergic to the sun. She's allergic to everything that lives and breathes. She is mute. She never speaks. So I'm thinking something happened back in the past that's made everyone kind of freak out about her. And there are two houses. There's a main house and there's a guest house. And she's allowed to stay in the guest house. It's beautiful. It's all she needs. She's not allowed in the main house. And the mom has made that very clear. Like, this is mine and my daughter's, and you can have full reign of everything outside, inside your house, but not mine. So of course, at around 50% in this book, she's like moseying in the main house and trying to learn a few things. She's been there for, I want to say, a year at this point, and is now like getting in there to check everything. So we're trying, I'm wondering what's going on with this. So I'm interested to see. However, you can look at all the piles. Look at how well we're doing. We're organizing, we're getting rid. You can see some piles over there as well, and there's my dog. So we are getting some books where they need to be all together. It's taken hours of my time, but we're getting there.
I have to sand down one side. It got too dark.
Alright, I finished it. Right as I finished all of my book dealings and organization, I'm going to put you back where you were because it's actually a really nice little link there. So I went and grabbed it. I have it physical. I was so wrong about like 18 different things, so let me just clarify some things. First of all, the husband, not in the United States, just like an hour flight away. So still away from the family, just not an hour. Second thing that I was wrong about, she wasn't there for a year. She was there for like a few months. So those are the two main things that I was wrong about that I can remember. The main character's name is Emily, so now that I know that, I can stop saying main character and I can just say Emily, which I think everyone would appreciate at this point. But we three stars maybe. I think this was just fine. I don't think there was anything magical or great about this story. This isn't a spoiler, but Emily randomly falls in love with the husband named Scott because Scott like had a savior complex, and I think she has daddy issues, and she like fell in love with him whenever he saved her. So sure, but like at the end, Scott's all talking about how he fell for Emily and he had feelings for her. But I think in the book they talked like 4 times. So you're just like, when? But I mean, who am I? Nope, come over here. It was a fine story for what it was. It wasn't anything groundbreaking. If you haven't read this trope before, if you haven't read this reveal before, you would really enjoy it. I'm gonna go pick up Stone Cold Fox now because I'm still enjoying that way more. And I'm gonna go read that. Then get this vlog edited and uploaded and start on my next one. I love this dog. He's goopy. Okay, you can go back. Okay, you can turn it off now. I finished it. It was 5 stars. Husband's in the background, walking around with my dogs, but I finished it. And the reason why it was 5 stars is the con artist aspect of the book was incredible. It was so smart. It was so entertaining. You read it so fast. So I highly recommend going into it without knowing anything. I can't tell you anything else about it without spoiling it. The writing, the stream of consciousness aspect of going from past to present, and the seamless way of all the characters melding together, the suspense that you feel as the cons get a little more detrimental, more important. If you don't do well on this con, if you fail at this, your entire marriage is at stake, your entire being is at stake. When at the beginning of the book, they're little bitty things, like if you get caught, you'll get in trouble, or if you get caught, you know, shame, shame, that's embarrassing. Now it's if you get caught, you might go to jail. I cannot begin to recommend this enough. All right. Let's chat about the books that I read. First was The Only One Left by Riley Sager, which was 5 stars. Then we read The Spare Room by Andrea Bartz, which I gave 3 stars. Then randomly listened to The Safe Place by Anna Downs, 3 stars. And then finished it today with Stone Cold Fox, which was 5 stars. The Only One Left, quick synopsis about a caretaker who was fired from her previous job. She was suspended, and you find out why throughout the book, but she goes to stay with this so-called murderer. Her whole family was murdered, but she was the only one left, and they live out on this beautiful house where you know, they look out on the cliffs, and we are learning all about the past, all about if she actually murdered her, why was the main character suspended, and how does it all come together in the end. I loved it. 5 stars from me. Some people feel differently about it. They don't like the way that it ended. I am a sucker for a gimmick. I'm a sucker for over-the-top thriller. That's what I got. Highly recommend. We move on to The Spare Room, which takes place during COVID-19 quarantine time. It turns into this somewhat provocative of a story. They end up all being in a relationship together, and the couple's ex is within the story, and she's missing, and then they find out what happened to her, how it all ties together. Just wasn't my favorite story. I just didn't really connect with what it was trying to do. Then we have The Safe Space by Anna Downs, and we have the main character Emily, who is a struggling actress, and she is just a temp from job to job, just got fired again. Her boss comes back and says, I want you to move to France to live with my wife and help her take care of our big villa and our daughter. And so she jumps on that one, flies out there, ends up being super remote. She doesn't really understand what's wrong with the daughter. There's a weird illness. She can't really figure it out. The wife Nina's kind of acting weird. The husband's kind of acting weird. We do find out what's going on with the daughter and the mom and why they're all, you know, somewhat in on a plot that Emily just isn't really in on. Phones don't work. Gate doesn't work. She can't escape anywhere. It's really great for someone who is brand new to thrillers and needs that new surprise. If you've read thrillers before, this will probably be mid-tier for you. 3 stars. And then we have Stone Cold Fox here, which I just finished today. 5 stars for me. We are following B, who grew up with her con artist mom. Did some pretty rough stuff in the past. She's trying to leave all that behind. She wants to get married to the wealthiest bachelor named Colin Case, but he has a female best friend named Gail, and Gail sees right through B and will not let her get through to marrying him, doesn't want him to marry her. Gail also is in love with Colin, and we all kind of underestimate Gail and what she can find out in the past that B thinks she's hidden pretty well. It's just a con artist, cat and mouse game. Again, this is like cover story by Susan Rigetti. So here are the 4 books that I've read. If you've read any of these, let me know down below in the comments how many stars you gave them, how you rated them, what you thought. If you haven't read any yet and now you're going to, let me know down below your thoughts. Which ones you're intrigued in, which ones you're going to the library next for. I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for watching this first vlog. Looking forward to learning from this and perfecting some more vlogs as we go. But this has been a lot of fun and I'm excited to start my next one.